Welcome to Among the Lilies. I feel like this is come Lord Jesus. I just want to talk to all of y'all, and I've been trying to record an episode since Christmas. Um and I haven't been able to. And please excuse the setup. I feel like I'm not cutting off my head. I feel like someone, not naming any names, but one of Matt's minion guys, stole my cameras. No, someone needed to borrow them. Pints with Aquinas needed my beautiful camera. And so that's why I am using a different camera, which normally I have on a wide setting. And I don't know enough about my camera, to be honest, to like reset it all. So excuse the look, and that I feel like if I sit up straight, you can't see my face. I'm slouching. I have a very long torso. But I have an important message that I wanted to talk to y'all. And I really wanted to record an episode prior to going to Seek. So we leave for Seek on Monday, and life's just been crazy. And if I don't sit down and just chat with y'all now, I don't think I'll get to. So here I am. Okay, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone that has messaged me through Instagram, through Patreon, through YouTube, email. I have gotten such outpouring of love and support, and y'all are beautiful and amazing. There are so many of y'all that also are suffering right now, whether it be chronic issues or autoimmune issues or mental health issues or postpartum issues, or all the things, all the issues. Yeah, like there's so many of you, and you're not alone. I feel like there's so many people suffering in silence right now, and I feel like so many of you. Oh, good. I'm seeing. Okay, so all my stuff's messed up. So if you can hear me and everything looks okay, please let me know in the comments so I know I could keep recording this video. Otherwise, I may just have to stop it and try again later. But yeah, so many people are in the same boat. I even I put up an Instagram post today that honestly I've been working on since before Christmas. I was going to do like a Merry Christmas post, and then I like didn't edit. So it's really funny. If you want to go on Instagram, you can see it. I didn't edit my family Christmas card. Like I didn't order it. I didn't order in time. I was sick. I wasn't feeling well. All the normal excuses. But what's so funny about the picture is I think it says love the Fitzsimons or love the Fitzgeralds, whatever the name was on the card. I like took our photo and put it in there, and that was it. I didn't even like edit the name, and I definitely didn't even look at it again until what, the second or third day of Christmas. And I was like, oh yeah, it's too late for me to order those. So anyhow, I took a screenshot and was like, virtually Merry Christmas. But life's just been crazy, and I know that's the case with most of y'all. But this episode, I'm really going to talk to those of you that are suffering, because so many of you are. Like even today, so I did that post, and a friend of mine, like our Christmas, my daughter started vomiting Christmas Eve, and so we had sickness go through the house, and I got it afterwards. So today, probably yesterday, was my first day feeling better with autoimmune stuff. When I get sick, it knocks me out, and just like picking my head up seemed like a lot. Yeah, and it was like a weird sickness. It was like a stomach bug meets head cold, and then also there was dizziness associated with it. So if you see my really cool Harry Potter mark, um, that's not because I want to be like Harry Potter. It's because I just kind of passed out a little bit and got a little bonk on the head. But I'm hoping, I think it's healing up. I've been like putting cream and vitamin E oil on it and all that. So hopefully it'll be healed. But yeah, there's just so many people suffering. And I just want to come on and talk to you and share with you some of the little bit of experience I have or knowledge, and like the biggest tool that I think you need when you suffer from anything is you need really good drugs. No, that's actually not it. No, you need humility. Like I think humility, faith is probably number one, but I feel like most of my audience has faith. You definitely need faith to walk through trials in life. God bless our atheist brothers and sisters. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you can get through a chronic condition, or how you can get through even, I don't know, any condition. If you have anxiety, I don't know how you get through day by day without God's grace. Like, you need grace. I need grace. I am living on grace constantly. That's all I'm living on. Yeah, by his grace. I'm looking at this picture. Look, my daughter drew me or colored me as Saint Joan of Arc. And that's just beautiful. It's on my desk. She had faith. She had faith. She had courage. And she's just beautiful and amazing. I think that we're out of water right now. Stephenville doesn't have great pipes, and our hill in particular is affected, and we've been out of water. And so I haven't taken a shower. And then our water went out a few days ago, and then they said it's like on triple boil or double boil. So like maybe there's sewer mixed in with our water. So it's brown and super gross. And so I haven't bathed in it because that's really gross. And so I went and got my hair washed by someone in West Virginia. I went to the salon in West Virginia, and this girl was so sweet. I was just chatting with her, and we were just, I don't know, sharing. And I mentioned that we were going out of town to this youth conference, or not youth, young adult conference, to Seek. And she's like, oh, what's that? And I was explaining it to her, and she's like, oh, that sounds great. What are you doing there? And I was like, oh, my husband's speaking and I'm speaking. She's like, oh, what are you speaking on? And I told her I was speaking on suffering. I'm like, suffering with grace. I'm like, I have some autoimmune diseases. She's like, oh, me too. I was like, oh, okay. Beautiful, cute, little bubbly 18, 19-year-old girl who's doing my hair. She's like washing it for me and blow drying it. And so we start chatting, and she just starts sharing with me. And if I had looked at her, I'd be like, this girl is so healthy. Like, she's young, she's in the prime of her life, she's not suffering or dealing with any dramas, and she's just sharing her story. And I'm like, this isn't just, it's not just me suffering. It's not just you suffering. There's so many people out there suffering. And I think a lot of it's health stuff, whether it's mental health or physical health. I just started reading this great book, and it's talking about Saint Therese and Zélie. Her mom struggled with anxiety. I never realized that. I've read Story of a Soul. I've read other things, but this book was very interesting, and reading it and be like, oh, wow. Like, of course she struggled with anxiety. She lost multiple children. Babies kept dying. She was stressed the entire pregnancy with Saint Therese. She was stressed that she was going to lose her. And then when she was born, she was sickly and things didn't look good, kind of like other siblings that had died. And she was stressed that she was going to die, right? So she had this anxiety, and then she had a wet nurse, and obviously we know the story. She survived. But then Therese had this major trauma. At 4 years old, her mom died. Like, trauma is trauma. And I think that whether we're suffering from it emotionally or physically, I'm not a very good emotional person, or I'm unaware of my emotions, I guess is what I should say. And I don't know if it's a personality thing or what, but I've always thought I wasn't stressed out. And what I've realized more recently is my body is stressed out. So I'm trying to be better about relaxing and listening to my body. But I think that we really need to be humble when we suffer. When we're suffering, we need to be humble. You can't get through suffering with pride. And I don't mean like a false humility, like, oh, I'm the humblest person I know. That's not what I mean. And I also don't mean like, say you're a musician and you play, and someone's like, oh my goodness, you have such a beautiful voice, or you're so gifted at playing the piano or the guitar. And you'd be like, oh, no, I'm really not that good. No, I'm not. I'm not saying denying the gift. That's not humility. That's a false humility. True humility is saying, yes, thank you. Like Sarah Kroger is going to be my example here, because she just popped in my head, and she's one of these musicians that I just love. She's beautiful. When she sings, I think she may be part baby angel, because she has the voice of an angel, and she's beautiful. And I've seen her lead worship a lot, and I've never seen her. I've never seen it about her. Like, she disappears. Just like a really good priest disappears at Mass, and you're like, whoa, I just saw Jesus and encountered this amazing, beautiful thing. And like, he disappears. She does that with worship. She disappears, and it's not about Sarah. And if you tell Sarah, oh my goodness, that was amazing, she'll say, oh, thank you so much. And she smiles. And she may say like, all for God's glory, or I'm so glad I could lead you in worship. Like, she accepts the compliment, but then just gives it right back to our Lord. And it's beautiful. It's not in a fake way. Like, I don't think Sarah Kroger could be fake humble. Like she has true humility, you know? I'm sure you all can think of someone in your life that just has true humility. And it's like, it's an acknowledging the gifts that we have. And oftentimes, like Sarah's gift of music is not for her. It's for me. I cannot sing, I cannot carry a tune, and I can't lead worship. Like I would be a horrible worship leader. But Sarah's gift of music and worship is for me. It's so she can lead me into worship and you and the bajillion other people she leads in worship. Um, yeah, it's something that you give. And I think all of us have seen musicians that you're like, whoa, they're making it all about them. And we've also seen musicians where you're like, I would love to pray with you. Like, that's amazing and gorgeous. But wherever we are in our life, we need to be humble, especially if we're in a season of suffering. I have a friend who had a baby and is dealing with postpartum. And I stopped in on her and I didn't want to impose, but I just wanted to be like, I'm here. What do you need? Can I hold your baby? Can I clean your dishes? What can I do? How can I help? And she was humble enough to let me hold her baby, humble enough to let me change her diaper, humble enough to let me wash dishes with her. And I love that. I've been there. I struggled desperately with postpartum depression. And I had good friends that were there for me. So I was very happy to do that for this friend. And I hope she continues to let me love her. But she was probably like in pajamas or workout clothes. Her hair was not done. She did not have makeup on. I didn't care. I also was in like pajamas and didn't have my hair done or makeup on. Like we've got to, like I had my priest came over 2 days ago. We had a priest friend come over with his son. He's a Ukrainian Catholic priest, so he's married and has children, but he brought two of his younger children for us to babysit so he could hang out with Matt and some other guys. And he came in and I was literally in my pajama pants and like an oversized sweatshirt and, hi, Cameron, how are you? Gave me a hug and I hugged him back. Like it wasn't weird. It wasn't like, oh my goodness, like Father, you shouldn't see me. Like, I mean, if I had been in a better place, I would have put pants on. But like true humility is just being with each other in our brokenness. It is loving the other where we're at and not trying to put on and not being like a Debbie Downer. I'm not saying you need to go tell everyone, I'm really sick. Just so you know, I struggle with anxiety, and tell everyone and their mother you struggle with anxiety. Or do you know that I have cancer? Like, feel bad for me. Like, I'm not saying like tell everyone and get a pity party going. But I think there is something to, letting people know where you're at. As I said before, I had a friend that like washed my hair for me. Like that was so humbling. If we don't get power back on in the next, not power, I have power. Obviously there's a lot of lights on me. If we don't get water back on in the next day or two, I'm going to start calling up friends and seeing if I can go shower at their house or take a bath at their house. It's humbling, but I don't have water, so I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I guess I could go down to the creek and no, I wouldn't. In my old house, I would totally bathe in that creek, but the water here is not that great. But like we need to humble ourselves and ask for help. We need to humble ourselves and try to help others. Even when I find that when someone is suffering, saying, what can I do to help you, is a good thing to say, but oftentimes people don't know. So think about, okay, if I was in their shoes, what could I do? So give people the options. So if you're around someone that's suffering that you love, ask them, can I make you a meal? Can I give you a ride somewhere? Could I clean your house for you? Like, what could I do to help you? Like, if you give options, I find that that's easier for the person. I'm just going to kind of read and talk to you guys because because Pints with Aquinas stole my equipment and my stand for my lights, and I have to have my camera over here. It blocks you. And so, yeah, it's just a bit of a hot mess. But, oh, thank you for the prayers. Good. I'm glad everything looks great. Yay, new mama from Jamaica. Congratulations. Oh, I have a friend right now in labor. If you guys want to please say a prayer for her, I would really appreciate it. She is beautiful and amazing and in labor right now. Congratulations on the new baby. I think like suffering, like there is like having a new baby is a form of suffering. I mean, there's so much joy with it and it's amazing and beautiful, but especially if your labor didn't go as planned, if you end up with a C-section or you end up with a preemie baby or a colicky baby, that's really hard. And that I think that's also another way of suffering. Perimenopausal hormone mess. And honestly, It has made this Christmas season hard. Yes. Oh my goodness. Christmas season has been really hard. So I wrote this thing on Instagram, but I basically was saying I have another friend whose daughter. So our Christmas, we started vomiting the night before. The week before, so the Friday before Christmas, our dog, we have this amazing, beautiful had this amazing, beautiful black Russian terrier. He's like 120 pounds. He's the sweetest dog ever. And unfortunately, we found out like 2 weeks ago, or like that Monday, the Monday before Christmas, that he had lung cancer. So our whole fourth week of Advent was mourning. We found out that he was sick, and we were praying and loving on him and just doing lots of things that he loves and just trying to be with him. And then by Friday, he was having a really hard time breathing and moving, and unfortunately we had to put him down. And so it was really sad and a lot of mourning. And yeah, and then sickness with Christmas. I have another friend I know a lot of you got stuck. A lot of you were stuck at airports or hotels all over the country because of all that crazy freezing weather. We had like -5. But my whole point was we're still in the Christmas season. You can still celebrate. So my daughter was baking Christmas cookies today. We watched It's a Wonderful Life like yesterday or the day before. And it's like we can still rejoice. And I think what we think the ideal Christmas day, what it's supposed to look like, that's not even what it's supposed to look like. Like the real Christmas wasn't what Mary and Joseph envisioned. Like she wasn't planning on riding on a donkey right before giving birth, not being with her mom and her friends and her family. Joseph wasn't planning on there being no room in the inn, like no place for her to lay her head, right? And it's like, okay, we're in a stable. But it was God's plan. Like God's beautiful plan and his divine will is so much greater than what we can come up with. And I think we need to be humble in seeing that and accepting it and asking the Lord, okay, what do you want to teach me in and through this? That's one thing I'm really trying to get better at with bad days. When I have bad days and I just feel really sick or I can't function, and just asking the Lord, what are you trying to teach me in this? Like, I love you. Help me better love those around me. Help me better unite my suffering for those that need prayers. Yeah, we've got to be humble in that. But one of my friends' daughter was supposed to fly up here to Stephenville, and she was coming from somewhere in the South, and she got stuck multiple places, but then in Texas, and like wasn't able to get another flight. And I can't remember if it was Houston or Dallas, but it was like one of the big cities. And he called over 100 hotels trying to find a place for them. No place in the inn. Nope, we're booked. We're solid. No rooms. They couldn't rent a car. They couldn't get an Uber. There was nothing. So at like 2 a.m., they're stranded. And he just keeps calling. Christmas Eve, calling all these places. And they have little kids. I think it's like a baby, a 2-year-old, and like a 4-year-old. And her husband's like brother-in-law or sister-in-law, like someone that wasn't blood related, had a relative who lived kind of nearby. So they called up kind of a stranger, but they're kind of related. They have like similar relatives, right? So it's like, oh, your cousin's also my cousin, but we're not related. We don't know each other. But hi, how are you? We're stranded. And my friend found them a hotel 30 minutes from the airport. And this beautiful woman at 3 a.m. is like, yep, I'm coming to get you. Drove her car, picked up this family and drove them to this hotel 30 minutes away. And like, that wasn't the Christmas plan, but that was their Christmas. But then they came up here and I'm sure him and his wife looked after the grandbabies and let the husband and wife get some rest and sleep. And then they celebrated their own little Christmas morning, and it was good. It was great. You know, I have friends here that like they had a horrible stomach bug or COVID or something, and like she couldn't pick her head off the pillow, right? So like the couple of kids opened presents, and one of the older ones like was FaceTiming her in bed. It's like, yay, Merry Christmas. So yeah, I derailed. I read something and that threw me off. Yes, you've been on my mind. Thank you, I guess. Oh, the name of the book. You know, and I'll mention it in another video. It's Something Holiness. It is, so when I was in Savannah, I went to Savannah and I went to confession, and this priest there in Savannah told me about this book. It's Something Holiness, Content Holiness, or I'll describe what it is to you, and then you can see if you can find it, or I can try to put it in the notes later. But it's basically, I just started it. It is about Saint Therese of Lisieux and Lisieux. I never say that right. I'm so sorry. But it's bringing in like a psychological element, like bringing in psychology. So the author of the book is a priest, and he talks about just how Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine would use philosophers and the good stuff they keep. It's not everything Socrates says is good and amazing. It's like, no, 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 this good stuff is great and we're going to take it. But this stuff that contradicts our faith, we're getting rid of. And so this guy's like, there's so much with psychology, sociology, mental health stuff. There's so much of it. Some of it is really good and we can find healing. So you have people like Dr. Bob Schuchts, who's doing amazing things. Sister Miriam James, amazing things with healing and so great. And then you have other people that are like, well, the reason you have X, Y, and Z and all these conditions is because you're trapped in the wrong body. So we have some psychology type stuff that contradicts our faith. Get rid of that, keep the good stuff. And he goes through, and it's interesting. And so I was up this morning at I think 4 a.m. And sometimes that happens, whether it's pain or stomach issues or whatever, and then I just can't sleep. So I've been up since 4. And so if my brain, like on days like this, I can't think right and my words don't come out right. So it's not the best day to be recording a podcast, but I can. So I'm going to do it. My pain level is low enough that I can move. So I got in front of the camera and I had that lovely girl wash my hair. So better than I did a couple days ago or even a couple hours ago. But yes. So it's lovely. The book kind of goes through and I find it interesting to compare our suffering with others, like not to compare to be like, oh my goodness, she suffered so much more than me, or I'm suffering so much more than her, but to see like, okay, this is your cross. And this is how you're coping with it. And I want to do the same. And I want to be inspired in some of the same ways and learning how to find and seek God in and through the suffering. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I know I'm scattered. I'm all over the place. But thank you guys for your patience with me. And I want to do a couple of these. The Content of Holiness. Yes, good job, Jennifer. The Content of Holiness is the name of the book that I just started. Jennifer, you're amazing. Thank you. Yay. I bet it wasn't Jennifer. I bet it was someone else that asked. So Jennifer, thank you for answering it. But yes, I'm finding comfort in reading it right now. I think also, I don't know. I think thinking about Job makes me feel better too. Cause I'm like, I mean, Job had it way worse. I'm the type of person that the Lord needs to hit me upside the head with a 2x4 for me to learn what he's trying to teach me. And I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. And so I try to keep looking like I am going to doctors and I am getting help and I have medicine and I have things that I avoid. And, I'm on a very strict, no histamine diet and low, anti-inflammatory. And so I know the things that I can and cannot eat. And and I do all these things and I take medicine to help with different things. But I also try to re-examine spiritually, like, okay, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? And I thought that holiness is like a road and there's mountains and it's like, okay, this is how I get there. And I think holiness is more like a thorn bush. And I have no idea where I am in the thorn bush. But I'm in a really thorny section right now, and there's lots of thorns. It's like, ouch, and it hurts. But at the same time, I know Christ's heart was pierced. Or no, Jesus' heart was pierced, but Christ's heart was also pierced. No, wait, I'm messing up what I'm saying. Our Lady's heart was pierced with a sword, but Jesus' head was pierced with crowns, and the Sacred Heart, crown of thorns. That was my thought process, but it came out really funny. But praise you, Jesus. Humility. See, it brings me back to my point about this whole video. What you need is humility. But yes, in the thorny seasons, asking the Lord, what are you trying to teach me here? And then sometimes you get to see a gorgeous rose. So I feel like when I go to a beach, when I go down south and there's the sun, it's like fresh breath and a beautiful rose. And thank you, Jesus. I just want to tell you how beautiful and amazing this is. And I think that's the path to, and I think it's all like this. There's no, it's a intertwined, messy, thorny rose bush. I think that is more the path to holiness than this path that I pictured. But it's good. It is good. And I have to keep praising the Lord. So I think if you are someone that is suffering, I encourage you, you need to have faith, a very strong, rooted faith in knowing our Lord and how much He loves you and delights in you. You need to have hope. You need to smile. You need to be able to rejoice in what you can do. And you need humility. There's other things you need as well. You obviously need charity and love and patience and so many other things. But this video, I really wanted to focus on the humility element. And I'll be doing more of these if you're interested in this, especially while I'll be traveling. So I'll be at Seek. If any of you are at Seek, I would love to see you. I'm giving a talk there on the 4th. I don't remember what time or anything, but you can look it up on the Seek app if you're going to be there. It's on the 4th. It's on suffering with grace. And I look forward to meeting any of you there. And Matt and I are also doing a meet and greet. I think it's maybe that evening, but it'll be in the schedule or on the app. And then we'll get back, and then we're going to Guatemala at the end of the month for a good bit. So I'm going to be probably taking my camera or at least recording things on my phone. And so I won't be doing as much in person or interviews with other women, which is my heart and what I love. So I'll be doing more like this. So if you guys have topics or things you want me to cover, please let me know what you want me to talk about. So thank you so much. God bless you. I am praying for all of you. And yeah, I appreciate you listening. And if this helps, please like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend. And thank you so much for all the feedback and prayers. I really appreciate it. Like, keep the prayers coming. I am living on your grace. No, not your grace. I am living on God's grace on your prayers. So thank you for your prayers. Pray for me. I will continue to pray for you. And there is no suffering that's too great. Like, it will not crush us. Christ is victorious and is stronger and bigger than whatever our current cross is. So turn to Him and He will give you the grace. All right. God bless. Bye.